Good morning. It is Friday. I wanted to do just a quick video here to help you out with Act 1, Scene 3, just in case you needed a little bit more support. A friendly reminder, we just finished reading Act 1, Scene 2. We had quite a bit going on there. That is where Paris, a potential suitor for Juliet, is talking to Lord Capulet, Juliet's father, about the concept of marriage. And we also are knowing about a feast that's going to go on at Lord Capulet's house. And then we see a conversation between Romeo and Benilvio. Again, Romeo is still a little bit lovesick about Rosalind. We also see that they're kind of thinking about going to this party at the Capulet's house, which again, if I remind you, that could be dangerous because there is a huge feud between the families. Now, when we go to Act 1, Scene 3, we're going to see a conversation between Juliet, her mother, Lady Capulet, and the nurse. And for a little bit, we're just going to kind of have the nurse ramble about how well she knows Juliet. And then we're going to have a conversation about marriage. Because think about it, marriage and that proposal with Paris just happened in the previous scene. So we're going to kind of see what the lady's opinion is of marriage. All right, so let me get this started with you. This is Scene 3, a room in the Capulet house. So Lady Capulet, nurse, where's my daughter? Call her forth to me. Now by my maidenhood at 12 years old, I bade her come, with lamb, with lady bird. God forbid it, where's the girl? What, Juliet? Enter Juliet. How now, who calls? The nurse, your mother. So basically so far, we just have Lady Capulet saying, where's my daughter? Get her for me. And then we have the nurse who says, oh, my maidenhood. Okay, she's around 12 years old. I bade her that she needs to come. And then she starts speaking of her fondly, what lamb, what lady bird, where is this girl? So she's calling for Juliet and giving a lot of fond names for Juliet. You can tell they have a close relationship because the nurse cares a lot for her and does a lot of the raising. So Juliet is now coming. So how now, who calls? Your mother. Madam, I'm here. What is your will? This is the matter. Nurse, give leave a while. We must talk in secret. Nurse, come back again. I must remember. Thou hears our counsel. Thou knows my daughter of a pretty age. So Lady Capulet was going to ask the nurse to leave and said we need to talk in secret. But then she says, no, nurse, you can come back again. I remembered that thou hears our counsel. So she's like, oh, you know what? You've basically been with our family for a very long time. So you already know what's going on. You can stay. Faith, I can tell her age unto an hour. So now the nurse is going to start talking about how well she knows Juliet and kind of how she's helped raise her since she was a baby. Lady Capulet, she is not 14. So right now we know Juliet is around 13. Nurse, I lay forth of my teeth, and yet to be a teen it's spoken. I have but 4. She is not 14. How long is it now till Lemus died? So they're going to talk about this holiday kind of being a measure of what Juliet's birthday is. A fortnight, and odd days, nurse. Even or odd of all days in the year, come Lammas Eve at night shall she be 14. Susan and she, God rest all Christian souls, were of an age. Well, Susan is with God. She was too good for me. But as I said, O Lammas Eve at night shall she be 14. Then she shall marry. I remember it well. 'Tis since the earthquake now 11 years, and she was weaned. I shall never forget it. Of all the days of the year upon that day, for I then laid wormwood to my dug, sitting in the sun under the dove-house wall. My lord and you were then at Mantua. And so basically right now she's talking about what it was like when Juliet was a baby, how her birthday is that holiday, how she had her own daughter, Susan, who unfortunately passed away. And she's just kind of rambling on about how well she knows Juliet and how she fondly thinks of her. So we'll continue. And again, this is the nurse. Now I do bear a brain, but as I said, when it did taste the wormwood on the nibble of my dug and felt it bitter, pretty foul, to see it tetching fall out with the dug, shall quoth the dove house, 'twas no need, I trow, to bid me trudge. And since that time it is 11 years, for then she can stand high and low. Nay, by that wood, she could have run and waddled all about, for even the days before she broke her bow. And then my husband, God be with his soul, I was a merry man, took up his child. Yea, quoth he, dost thou fall upon that face? Thou wilt fall backward, and thou hast moved more. Will that now, Jewel? And by my holiday, the pretty wretch left crying and saying, aye. To see now how jest y'all about. I warrant, and I shall live 1,000 years, I shall never forget. Will that now, Jewel? Quoth he. I'm a pretty fool who stinted it, and say aye. Enough of this, I pray, hold thy peace. So the nurse is basically just rambling on about kind of some of the memories she has of Juliet, how Juliet was weaned, how Juliet was walking, kind of all these different things that she remembers about her. And she really does start to ramble and doesn't actually make complete sense. So it kind of just lets us know a little bit about the nurse. But she does fondly think of Juliet. So Lady Capulet, enough of this. I shall pray hold thy peace. So nurse goes, yes, madam. Yet I cannot choose but laugh to think it should leave crying and say aye. And yet I warrant, as it upon its brow, a bump as big as young crooked stone, a perilous knock, and it cried bitterly. Yea, quoth my husband, fallest upon thy face? Thou wilt fall backward, and when thou comest to age, will that not, Jewel? It stinted, and I said, aye. And stint thou too, I pray thee, nurse, say aye. Peace have I done, go mark to thee his grace. That was the prettiest babe that ever I nursed, and I might live to see this married once. I have my wish. So now the nurse is talking about, oh, you are the prettiest baby that I was ever able to take care of. I hope someday that I get to see you married. And Lady Capulet says, Mary, that Mary is the very theme. I came to talk to thee. Tell me, daughter Juliet, how stands your disposition to be married? So she says, Mary, that Mary is the very theme. So marriage is the topic we're going to be talking about. What is your disposition? What is your opinion? What is your mood about marriage? Juliet, it is an honor that I dreamed not of. So it's an honor that I dreamed not of. She's saying, I respect it. I think, it's an important institution, but I haven't really been thinking about it. Nurse, an honor were not thine only, nurse. I would say thou hast sucked wisdom from my teeth. Lady Capulet, well, think of marriage now, younger than you here in Verona, ladies of esteem, and maid already mothers by my count. I was mother much upon these years, that you are now a maid. Thus, then in brief, the valiant Paris seeks you for his love. So she says, well, you need to think of marriage now, because people even younger than you here in Verona are already married and already made mothers. So really, you can be considered an old maid. She's only 13, guys, but an old maid because you're not married. And then she goes on to say that the valiant or the wonderful, brave Paris seeks you for his love. So she's letting Juliet know that this is something that Paris is wanting. So nurse says, a man, young lady, such a man, as all the world, why he's a man of wax. So when she says he's a man of wax, the nurse is saying, oh, he's such a handsome, wonderful man. Lady Capulet, Verona's summer not such a flower. Nay, he's a flower in faith, a very flower. So again, they're just talking about how handsome and wonderful and young he is. And Lady Capulet says, what say you? Can you love this gentleman? This night you shall behold him at our feast. Reader, the volume of young Paris's face, and find delight writ there with beauty's pen. Examine every marriage lineament, and see how one another lends content. What obscured in their fair volume lies from written in the margin of his eyes. This precious book of love, this unbound lover, to beautify him only lacks a cover. The fish lives in the sea, and 'tis much pride, for fair within to hide. The book in many eyes does share the glory, that in gold clasp locks in the golden story. So you shall share all that he does possess, by having him making yourself no less. So let me backtrack here, just so we can see what's going on. So what say you? Can you love this gentleman? So do you think you could love Paris? Tonight, you are going to see him at the feast, and you will get to kind of see and take in young Paris and kind of get more of an opinion of him. And she says that he's beauty's pen, he's beautiful, examine every marriage lineament, so kind of check him out, see if he would be a good husband, see if that would be something that would make you content. It even goes on to saying he's an unbound lover, so he's single. And the only thing it says to beautify him only lacks a cover. The only thing that he needs a cover is a wife. So that's kind of the metaphor we see right here. So it says to fish live in the sea and to much pride, for fair within to hide. So again, he's just looking for a wife. You might have heard the term like there's many fish in the sea. Here's this fish. He's such a wonderful example of someone she could marry, and he's looking for a wife. He's a catch. It's what she's trying to say. So and then it says that in golden class lock in this golden story, so shall you share all that he does possesses. So you could share everything that he has and be a partner with him. And again, it would make herself no less. It would actually just make life better for her. It couldn't be any worse. So this is basically Lady Capulet's argument. And nurse says, no less, nay bigger, women grow by men. So then the nurse is like making like a joke, like, ha ha ha, if you get married someday, actually, you'll even gain maybe a child someday in marriage. So Lady Capulet says briefly, can you like of Paris's love? So she's saying, what do you think? Do you think that you would love Paris? And this is what Juliet says. I look to like if looking likely move, but no more deep will I dart mine eyes than your consent gives strength to make it fly. So she's saying, I'll look to like if looking like moves. So she'll kind of consider this. I'll look to like, I'll check him out, but I won't do anything without your permission. But no more deep will I dart my eye. So again, I will kind of enter this with your permission, making sure that I'm following kind of the protocol of young ladies at the time, that your consent gives strength to fly. So I will not look harder than what you want me to. So if you're considering this, I can, possibly consider that. But of course, I'll be a lady about it. So then we have the serving man say, Madam, the guests are coming, supper served up. You called, my young lady asked for. The nurse cursed in the pantry, and everything's an extremity. I must hence to wait, I beseech you follow straight. Okay, so they're getting ready for the party here, and Lady Capulet says, we must follow thee, Juliet, the country stays. And the nurse says, go, girl, seek happy nights to happy days. So we're ending the scene with, again, the girls have this conversation about marriage. Juliet will see Paris. She's still kind of considering it, and we will see kind of what happens at the party. So hopefully this helped you a little bit with this act. Please feel free to email me. I'm more than happy to help you because I know this takes some time to get down. I miss you guys dearly. And if you are watching this video, the code word today is blue. So if you want to email me the code word blue or write it on the comments of this assignment, I will actually give you an additional few points for participation since you are bothering to listen to some extra instruction. So I can give you at least a couple class points for you to help you out. So again, thanks guys for all of your hard work. I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.